already got an advantage off of being aggressive, and then it just spilled over to the rest of the map because of the way that GBM played.
Now, I will say as we get into this Game 4 draft as well that we've discovered through this best of 5 series and through most of the MSI play-ins that you can't really blind pick jungle. It's really difficult to blind pick that role when there's counters available through this set. We've seen the counters be successful, so the Graves is an example in that last game, but every team is selecting blue. Supermassive has selected blue in this one. And what's that first pick going to be?
Well, it's not going to be a Trundle because they have taken it off the board. Don't want to deal with it. Don't want to try to find a counter pick against it. Just get it out of there, and that means the Olaf is up and available.
Because they already took away 2 of the top-tier junglers, the Skarner and the Trundle. So Olaf is the one that jumps down, it's right below that in the tier list in terms of aggressive junglers. So this will give Snowmage a pretty good matchup, but there are some things you can still play into. Graves, I think, is actually still okay. Not as dominant in the matchup, but and can't really match the clear speed or can match the clear speed, but it's just more, I think, still Olaf favored come mid-game.
And now we see on the opposite side, EVOS, they don't get the jungle priority pick, but they do get the Ornn. Once again, the Des talked about how key it was. And Warzone getting his hands on that Cassia one more time.
Yeah, he's going to have a super strong pick in the Cassiopeia. It was comfortable. Perhaps the Vladimir doesn't actually come out as a response for the first time, and that's always potentially a mid-lane karma here for GBM into the Cassiopeia. And whilst we see Supermassive's picks, I always wonder if something like a Lee Sin comes out of an Eastern jungler into the likes of an Olaf, just throwing that one randomly out there.
Yeah, Lee Sin did get some buffs. Right here, though, you expect the Caitlyn to come through as just that top tier that's kind of when Kai'Sa's banned away. But the interesting thing about this draft is that's a flex pick Karma. Karma Caitlyn could be a very oppressive lane for Snowflower and Zeitnot. So this actually affects your bans in the phase 2, because if EVOS are throwing bans at things like Thresh, making sure Snowflower doesn't get that, it means that when they flex it, you actually just wasted some bans.
And now EVOS entering the second ban phase without picking a jungler, which could put them in a tough spot if that's where Supermassive want to put their attention. For now, though, they're banning out the Morgana, taking away some of those options up against the Alistar. Look apparently comfortable playing up against the Karma in the bottom lane, still willing to ban those supports away.
I actually think they ban Morgana and Thresh here to ban them away from Snowflower, and then that's where you really have to go, is this a flex pick from the Karma? Because otherwise you just wasted 2 bans. They're expecting it to be mid lane here.
Yeah, perhaps even forcing it to mid lane, of course, with those bans. You know what your mid lane matchup will be already. It's not the worst thing to pick a Cassiopeia into a Karma anyway, so you should be okay. It's just about that mid lane control, mid lane priority. It's an Olaf and a Karma that could work in tandem.
And we can see that the continued hatred for the Ornn into GP matchup is alive and well for Stark. They banned it last game as well. And the Ezreal going to follow here. So Slay running out of options in terms of comfort picks. See what they want to go for. Of course, Tristana still up and available. Maybe they go for that one more time.
Yeah, may go back to the Tristana, but the Varus is a very good pick into the Caitlyn. But like we said before, his Varus win rate is actually not very high, only 25%. May go somewhere else. And hey, the Graves once again for Yijin.
Yijin liked what happened last game. He's ready for the rinse and repeat. He says, yeah, I don't really care what champion you pick. I'm going to get a lead again. I'm going to kill everybody. And to be fair, fantastic performance. I don't know if it's going to work as well, though, without the same setup he got last time.
I mean, Olaf does have a faster clear. There's always a chance that you could find the Olaf, but it's a bit harder to do when there's more camps that he could go towards, a bit more variable in his builds. Good to see what's remaining here from Supermassive, as EVOS actually held their 80 carry pick for the composition.
Interesting, too. The Shen now coming in as well as the Karma. Feels like Supermassive have set up to play around Zeitnot on the bottom side. And this is the pick you mentioned, Zyrene. You thought this would be banned away, but Snowflower getting his hands on that Thresh for the first time this tournament.
And that's why they kept their 80 carry for last pick here, because they want to know exactly what the bottom lane is. The Karma's flex to mid. Thresh for Snowflower comes out. It can work very well against the Alistar. If you are on point with your flays, you can stuff all of those headbutts and make sure that you're having a good time. And right now, it looks like a bottom lane focus for Supermassive.
As predicted at the start of the day, this time clearly telegraphing it. The Karma, the Thresh, 2 supports there to back up the damage output of Zeitnot later in the game, as well as that comfort jungler for Snowmage.
And they finish it off with an Ashe for Slay, something that is often seen into specifically the Caitlyn matchup. With a non-lane centric, you would say there's not going to be push, coming out of Snowflower. It's potential kill threat for sure. You can control that 2v2 with an Alistar and an Ashe because you hold the 1v1 between AD carries. Jungle influence is the only real breaking point there. I think that Slay and Ron OP can actually hold their own here with that last pick. And it provides engage for the composition other than just the Ornn.
And another thing I love about this Ashe is when I was watching Supermassive's games, when they get a slight lead and they do the Baron, Hawkshot will shut that down because you're just going to keep throwing it over and over again. If they have vision control of the area, which has been their forte, you're going to be able to spot that Baron and when they're baiting it and when they aren't.
Simultaneously shores up some of the vision weaknesses on the side of the VCS team. EVOS. Handshake between the coaches, potentially the last time as we go into game 4.
And as we look at these drafts, Supermassive, bottom lane focus. The Shen can go to the bottom side. The Karma can go to the bottom side. You flip it over to the VCS, though, for EVOS. This is one where, once again, Yijin has the controls. He can go to whatever lane that he wants to and kind of spill over from there. So I'm watching the Graves once again.
Yeah, it's about freeing up the bottom lane here for the VCS side, unlocking their potential to engage, to utilize the rest of the draft, and that does revolve around the jungle, revolves around the mid lane even in Warzone, and that can all leak towards top.
And when it comes down to match point, when it comes down to game 4, Supermassive once again bet on their bot side focus. And EVOS ready to try to shut it down, ready to try to mix it up. The Graves, the terrifying Graves pick in the hands of Yijin. Uncontested in the draft. We'll see if it works out as well this time.
Yeah, expecting him to get up in Stomage's face very early on in this game, especially since right now, in terms of the lanes, you would expect Supermassive to have priority mid with Karma early, and then you expect the Ornn to at least kind of seed the lane early. So when Yijin does go for an invade, it won't be favored for him, but I still expect him to go for something like that because of the style.
Yeah, it's actually super good to have Grasp of the Undying as Shen into Ornn for the level 1 strength. You have the taunt, so of course you can stand there next to him, get the procs off. You should be able to win the trades, particularly at level 2 as well. And while Stark should always have push, not that early. It's a couple rotations of spells. You can win that lane as Shen, and you can unlock Stomage.
Yeah, and Fat Fabulous, last time he played this matchup, he had actually taken the Conqueror into the Ornn for the 1v1, but he's actually very much so respecting Stark and saying, I don't need to kill him, and I probably can't kill him, but I'm just going to go ahead and play for the team, play for the bottom side of the map, and go back to the strategy that had been working for Supermassive. Slow things down, play to the bottom side, allow Zeit not to carry, and they have shields to allow him to do that.
Have to see the execution here in the early game. Of course, talked about the junglers being important. Supermassive investing a lot to track Graves' early pathing. And you can understand why when you look at Yijin's numbers from the previous game. This time he is going to get a leash on the top side from the Ornn, but oh yeah, folks, that's a 40 CSD on a jungler.
I mean, he was 4 levels up. He was the highest level in the game at one point. That's insane to see from a jungler. Like, that's my boy right there. I'm going, as a jungle main, that's what I like to see on the stage, because so often we're kind of the secondary wards, we're the secondary supports, we're the tanks. It's like, I like to see the diversity coming through and have a successful showing.
Yeah, it was all about him as well, taking the objectives by himself as needed. Went for the early Infernal Drake while the rest of his team was fighting. And what more would you want from a Vietnamese jungler other than unbridled aggression and the self-interest of a jungler that the team works around incredibly well?
Wow, so that ward from earlier.
Yeah, paying off dividends at this point. Snowflower, Zeitnot have to be careful.
And they know that he's there, and they just hit level 2 on Snowflower and Zeitnot. They're waiting for level 2 on Ron OP so that he can go in.
Headbutt Pulverize. There it is. Yijin on the backside. He's going to move into the middle of the team. Ooh, Guardian does Snowflower. What a predict. He says, you got your comfort pick, I got mine. Give me that first blood.
And that's just a dead Graves as well immediately at level 2. That's a red buff to Snowflower. May not be Zeitnot, but that's control of the lane. They just win that out.
And now some Domage is going to get all of this jungle here, at least get this blue buff, but no, they're going to push him away. That is really well done there from EVS. The fact that they're making sure that even though Yijin died, he's not going to lose the maximum for it. They're protecting it. JBM blew the TP to try and make something happen there.
Didn't see
Ron,
it go
Hex Flash.
Zeitnot. Ash looking for the slowdown. Going with the headbutt on a creep, trying to taxi his way in there. The Ignite is there. Snowflower now moving in. He has the red buff. Good damage should come in from this threat if the fight extends. But Warzone is there to back him up. Every advantage Supermassive just got getting thrown away in the overextend.
Yeah, Supermassive are still going to be ahead about 600 gold, though, because of the farm that they picked up and because of the fact that it was a first blood, too. So they get something back. You still have to salvage the jungle situation, though, and you're going to see that Yijin's going to catch up a bit.
And credit to Warzone for being there to get the kills as well. Staying in the jungle, he sees someone going for the Scuttle Crab, cancels his recall to stop that, but then uses that momentum. Well, I'm already here, go straight towards the bottom lane. The real winner is definitely still Stomaged, but Yijin's still with a fighting chance because the team's able to work around it.
Yeah, this TP from GBM that makes everybody pull off. I love just the way they play defensively, and that hook. Oh, man. Snowflower finally gets the thresh.
What did we say?
I thought I'd never want to play support again. That man right in that moment made me want to play support. That was crisp.
That's one where he's up against the wall, so he just throws it alongside the wall. The only way you avoid that is a flash,
You can flash
to the
back,
right.
yeah, back into our territory.
Yeah.
You can flash. Either way, you're going down. And, you know, we didn't see Snowflower get his hands on this pick for the longest time. Now does get it, and I think that's exactly the kind of confidence play you want if you're members of Supermassive. Our player gets his best champion and starts killing people with it. That has to make you feel good when your back is against the wall and your opponents are on match point.
He got it once during the regular split, so the group stage rather, won with it as well. Looked incredible on it on top of that. And that was the moment, you know, everyone was saying ban his Thresh. Now, okay, is it actually that? Yes, it's actually that good. And now you get it again, and he doesn't miss the hooks.
And just moments away from getting the trap down as well. Snowflower and Zeitnot confidently in control of the bottom lane. We know the Ashe and the Alistar are there to set up the engages potentially for somebody else, but the Graves falling behind means they're not quite getting the same level of attention they got in the previous game.
Yeah, the Graves are going to have to play catch-up himself and go through the jungle and try to just constantly clear. He's down a level right now. Stomage up and ahead, so the Graves won't have that same type of impact. We'll try to go for a little bit of a contest in the river, though. We'll see what happens, but Stomage wins pretty much all 2-on-2s and 3-on-3s.
Oh, Snowflower is going to get engaged on Warzone around, but not in the best spot. Ron P just trying to buy space for his 80 carry to last hit. But I got to say, Warzone being very active and getting out of this mid game, laying down a little bit of vision, kind of checking out, and really letting the team know where Stomage is.
And doing what his jungler can't do effectively, right? Not just doing it because he can, but he knows that the Graves can't help. He's on the opposite side of the map. They're worried about being dove, and rightly so. There was a big minion wave crashing down. And Warzone, very smart and very aware of the state of the map, able to actually help that out.
And he's going to have to keep that up because if GBM has that teleport, and if Warzone wants to answer any of the roams that come through, he's going to have to be on top of his game. If he can get a lead in this mid lane and use that kill that he got earlier to pressure GBM, then they're in a really good spot to win the middle of the map for EVS and then transition that to other lanes.
Here comes the Predator. Yijin, not sure if he wants to take this fight. He's going to dash, misses the axe. That's going to be big there. Stomage has to back off. Warzone ready to spawn. And as we check in on the mid lane, you can see the kill. Definitely going to help for the Cassio. Oh, to hold that thought. Snowflower.
TP.
Back. TPs are coming in. They may be looking for that early fight. Shen ultimate is there. They're going to try to start this one off. Keep your eyes on that Ornn ulti. Where's it going to go? Knocks up two members. Slay over the wall. Is going to take the Yijin in a great spot. Warzone with the ultimate. Ornn from out of nowhere. Coming in clutch to win this one out. Taking out the Shen too.
That is a disaster for Turkey. Vietnam comes up huge. Stark's TP changes everything.
So clutch from all of them individually, and it makes you wonder, you know, that it looked good for Supermassive at the start, but how quickly that turns around from just the mechanical ability of their opponents.
And honestly, just a beautiful play. Instantly blown wide open. This replay brought to you by Acer Predator and the TP you highlight, Zyrene.
It's so early as well, and Supermassive keep committing. So Stark gets 2, then he gets 2 again, and it's so much damage. This is an Ornn that slaughters the fight, and even though Fat Fabulous went for the backline, it doesn't matter there. They clean up 4 for 1 in that fight.
Yeah, even Warzone getting the flash ultimate as well onto the enemy carry. Full awareness of how that fight was going. Compliments of Stark. And we said this in Champ Select when he picks Ornn. He teleports first. He is always there first. And he does the damage because of that.
Let's talk about Ornn base damage. Let's talk about beautiful team fighting. Stark on point on this champion. They talked about it on the desk. Key pick in this series. Stark gets his hand again. He gets to make that excellent play. And honestly, moments ago was Stomage. He's in total control, and now Yijin's right back in the game.
And Stark is just such a funny story about him because when we first saw him last year on the Gigabyte Marines at MSI, he came in and people were like, this guy's only played competitive League of Legends for like 2 months, started in March right before the tournament. And even before that, it's like he had only played for a few months in terms of League of Legends in general. So he was crushing people, and I remember Fat Fabulous, his opponent, being like, this guy, I can't believe he's only played for so long. Because for so short a time, because he's so good at the game. And now we're seeing it a year later. He has a lot of these TP mechanics down. He's understanding all of the intricacies of how to play the top lane, and he is this enormous carry for them. I mean, he even went into retirement for like a month.
Yeah, well, he keeps retiring for the shortest amount of possible times here, Zyrene. But he's back once again. He's on the main stage once again. Stomage now looking.
Get something back. CC is there, chaining it down on a Snowflower. They're going to try to take him out. Snowflower ignited and is going to fall. Slay not hesitating. They're going to trade 1 for 1. Now they have the man advantage. Slay just going to walk it out, but
real aggressive, actually. And the whole top.
Fat Fabulous. The CC is going to start to come in. Spirit's Refuge not going to help against the magic damage of that Cassio. Auto attacks only.
Oh, he's burning down for the red.
He's trying to heal. He can't get it. Action across the map. Kills traded back and forth, and Yijin exactly where he's needed to bring it home for the team.
There's so much extra damage from the red smite that a lot of those fights just get turned because of it. We see it come up big there. Yijin, 2-1-2. Once again, another fantastic game.
Yeah, and it all starts on the bottom side of the map as well. Before all of this, really well done from Yijin. Point blank, of course, with all of the spells to secure that. Stomage knew that there was a challenging smite on him, hoping to heal perhaps from hitting the ward. Not to be seen. There was a fight in bottom lane. Slay flashes aggressively forwards to secure the kill, secure the trades, and that was what was left afterwards. A massive victory for EVOS.
And we've said it time and time again throughout this series. I feel like a broken record, but when EVOS gets the game pace going, that's the game that favors them. We saw Supermassive. They got first blood. Then it's turned around. EVOS constantly having the fights, and then you can't keep up with the pace. We see Supermassive falling behind.
And last game, it was GBM getting over-aggressive that got this ball rolling for EVOS. This time, it is all about Stark coming down, getting this team started. He knows his team can keep the tempo going if he gets him started, and it works out beautifully across the board.
Yeah, the fact that the team play from EVOS works from mid to jungle and to top lane, they can all cascade together. If one falls down, the other one can pick them up. You're seeing legitimate team play from a side that when you watch their finals, you're like, I mean, they're aggressive. They're all over the shop. They don't really slow the pace of the game down. They don't set up for things. Well, they don't need to set up for things if they're just all on the same page. It's working out brilliantly.
Absolutely is. Of course, one shining light for Supermassive. The big damage sword, Zeitnot. 0, 2, and 3. Yes, he's behind the Ash and Gold because of all the kills and assists that Slay has managed to pick up, but the farm is coming through. He is ahead in CS. It is a small advantage for sure, but it is something. This arrow.
It hits. Oh. That was amazing. That was right on target as well. That's just the flash expended. No teleport even there for GBM.
That would have been huge. GBM wouldn't have been able to flash. They would have been able to put the grounded on him, and looked like Stark was roaming with ultimate too.
Here's the thing, guys. GBM, normally the one proactively moving around, but he is living under his tower this game. He went from diving 24/7 as the Vladimir, sometimes ill-advised, to hiding here.
Oh, not again.
Another Hex Flash. Luckily, they have the vision there, but sadly, GBM has been invisible. Luckily, mid-jungle, both there in the mid lane.
And you can really tell that his aggression has been tempered, not just from him as a player in this game, but even from the draft going for the Karma. But speaking of aggression, they're looking.
Yeah, and he's the only person on his team that hasn't died, so he's reeling it back, saying, you know what, I'm not going to have that happen again. I've learned from my mistakes. But his team is now making a lot of the mistakes that he did before.
And this is a problem still for them because he's the Karma and the Caitlyn's behind. That's the other damage carry.
Oh, Stomage right there. Warzone going to be in a tough spot. Shen ulti is coming out. They stand united, but Fab goes in all on his lonesome. The ultimate, the stun. The CC's going to come in. Shen's not going to be able to push any buttons. Is he going to get taken down? Yes! One OP comes in to save the day.
And as we just said that the team is suffering from the issues that GBM did last game, it happens. Fabulous comes in, he flashes the chase, and he's not able to get the kill. Too much aggression, and right here, this might be another case.
Flower does get it. The trap goes down immediately. They take out the 80 carry, but Yijin is here. He may want to turn this one back. They're trying to get through Snowflower. They are going to take him down. Ron OP running for his life. Reckless Sling will come up. True damage will bring this kill home, but Ron OP is still running. Stomage is going to take him out.
And super good awareness from Supermassive on the opposite side. They tracked it. They knew they were going to go forward. Snowflower does not miss those hooks. And he goes straight onto Slay, knowing full well they were going to stand still and try and deliver onto him. We get to see what happens here with the Cassiopeia as well. And dodging the taunts, what you have to look for.
I do wonder what the thought process was from Warzone going that direction, but right there, just barely gets away. Even Slay throws a heal at him just in case. He's like, you know what? If something happens, if, you know, thunder comes down from the sky, something happens randomly in the game, at least he's safe.
But this hook from Snowflower, exactly where it needs to be. The boxes there. He knew he was going to get comboed, and he chooses not to play the Alistar out of that. Instead, he wants the kills onto the opponents. Very successful from them as a counterplay, where EVS go a little bit too far.
Absolutely the case. And Zeitnot, of course, pairing up very nicely with Snowflower. You see the disappointment when the initial play goes against them, but Zeitnot and Snowflower coordinating well on that thresh hook, making sure they get the maximum there in terms of kills. Once again, it does not get them out of this 2.4k gold deficit, but it is a start. It is the Caitlyn getting a little bit more under her belt in terms of golden items.
Yeah, and Fabulous there on the player cam. This has to be such a stressful series for him. This is a revenge series up against Stark from last year with the Gigabyte Marines versus Supermassive, the 3-1 series. And so far, Fabulous's scorelines have been 1-6 in one of their games. He went 1-6 in the last game, and now he's 1-3 to start this game off. And you can see Yijin is just having a field day in the jungle.
I mean, look at the CS. We took a break to look at the bot lane CS. We go, ooh, Supermassive, nice. And then we take a look at the jungle
How
CS.
does he do this?
Yijin.
Remember the plus 40 at 15 minutes? It's about to be 15 minutes, and it's around that plus 60 area. Yijin died.
Oh. Sidestep. They're going to
fight
be
it.
coming in. They're going to kill both of them. Hunting for the Olaf. Yijin, no flash available. Fabulous, so the one in trouble. He's the sacrificial Shen. GBM wants to save him. He doesn't have enough shielding.
He just blasts them, and he's far ahead in farm. You're saying
Warzone's
that.
right here. GBM needs to run. He's walking through graves because it's the better option. Oh no, the knockup is there. This is disastrous for Supermassive. EVS just picking him off.
And they give the kill over to Yijin, and he's going to take the Wolves on the way out. He's taking everything. He's 2 levels up. Remember, this guy died level 2 and struggled to pick up his jungle, but that's the only death he's had all game.
He's now out farming his top laner. He's chasing his mid laner in CS as well. This guy takes everything. Look after your firstborn as well.
Oh, he takes those second blues. He takes everybody's lives on the map. I am loving this.
I mean, the Shen TP in there was brave. Let's be honest. That Graves probably would have dived there if he had a flash. And, guys, we've said this. And Yijin just continuing the trend of Vietnamese junglers. It doesn't matter if it's a local stage. It doesn't matter if it's international. It doesn't matter where they play. These guys are insane at the jungle role.
Yeah, frankly, it's good to see another one come through, right? You lose Levi, you're like, oh no, is this it?
Yeah.
But here comes the third coming of the aggressive junglers on the international stage.
And that's been a big worry, is people going, oh, Gigabyte Marines, as soon as the Vietnam region got made into its own tournament that went right to MSI, people were saying, oh, well, Levi left and went to North America. Gigabyte Marines are going to be garbage now. It's like, that was the only good team. EVOS is saying, no, that is not the case. That they deserve the respect, that Vietnam as a region is powerful, and that they need to be respected because they are producing talent constantly. And Yijin has come up all right now, and we're seeing another one of those prodigies.
And they beat them to get here.
Yep.
Absolutely taken down. New Gigabyte Marines lineup, new EVOS lineup looking so powerful. And this is an organization that's been praised in Vietnam for its structure, for having the support structure, for trying to do it, you know, all the way top down. Not looking for anything sketchy, just wanting to bring home high quality organization, support staff to support the team, and it's paying off. You can see how well coordinated they are, and on top of that, the individual talent to boot is just so good.
3 levels up now for Yijin. It's just a, oh, well, Stomage is almost. We were almost level 10.
We've been here. Guys, this is deja vu. The only difference is GBM.
Oh, no.
Now looks like a Karma.
Oh.
Now looks dead.
Once was a Karma, unfortunately has since passed away. Pressure in the mid lane as well. It's not just Yijin that's ahead, it is Warzone. He was the one that kicked this all off in the first place. And it's not just one turret they're looking for, it's 2.
And this is where desperation is going to kick in for Supermassive. They're going to start flailing, trying to figure out how to deal damage control and make sure that they can stop losing this game. But right now, EVOS, they're snowballing effectively.
Ornalty coming in, maybe looking for the disengage. Snowflower over the wall, not going to get caught out. But guys, Supermassive had to be hopeful. They had to be thinking, this is where we can come back. We can bring it to game 5. But right now, EVOS are making this look like a pub stomp. These guys are crushing. These guys are tearing through the opposition.
Here comes all of them.
EVOS now looking. The flash out already. Immediately, Warzone in the middle of everything. So much damage. Warzone is going to get taken down, but the Graves is alive and well. GBM on the backside. Slay looking for a way into the fight, but Zeitnot is uncontested. Heading home on to start. Getting the damage down. The tank line is going to fall. GBM protecting the team. Fabulous on the front line. Ron OP trying to buy a little bit of space. Yijin not sure if he wants to move in or out, and they're giving kills over to Zeitnot. He's now on the hunt, looking for a bit more. The Ashe trying to disengage, but the Defiance from Karma speeding him up. Are they going to keep going for the chase? Supermassive. Can they extend this play a little bit further? Doesn't look like it.
I don't think it's worth going forward for, especially when there's an Ocean Drake on the table. That's something that they could pick up if they wanted to. But they're going to go for the turret pressure instead on this bottom side. Finally get a first turret for themselves.
And you were seeing Zeitnot now start to warm up to the game. He's starting to really feel himself, and he's got those kills now in the back pocket. So if he gets that money spent even more so, he's the player you have to look at as the standing defiance against the opponents of EVOS here.
Yeah, he's the beacon of hope right now for them. And this right now, this is the tournament lives for Supermassive. They lose this, they are out. They cannot get that group stage. They cannot actually have that kind of group stage playing by into Worlds, and then that would once again potentially go to Vietnam.
Yeah, and of course GBM in this replay just dies extremely quickly, and of course you get to watch Yijin's perspective of this. Annihilated.
It's collateral damage, for sure. I think intentional target at that point. And here, the good news is that when they get these opportunities, Supermassive do play them well. The early flash from Zaynot looks good, and the play just continues.
Exactly, and Zaynot's placing traps this entire time. He's free to hit. Fab's in front. You've got the Olaf in front as well. And GBM's even there to contribute. As we're back, we're fighting.
When Ultimate comes out, he's going to knock up GBM. Moving through the rest of the team, trying to take down most of the targets. Everybody is alive, but Snowflower set to fall. Caitlyn getting shut down by the Graves. Ejin is cutting through the entire lineup. He may just turn his focus to GBM. Stomach's going to keep going. He wants a little bit more of the flash forward. He's feeling himself. The triple, he's cutting down.
Let's go, Ejin on the stage. The triple kill, 8-1 and 4. He is going off.
Still pushing now, going forwards. EVS at the very least will get themselves inhibs. Fabulous is alive. It's very early into the game, so you take the inhibs, you back away, but a massive lead now for them. It goes up to 10,000.
And the Baron, I believe they go and rush the Baron right now. 5 men strong right here for the VCS. Ejin leading the charge, diving in. This guy is at 11,000 gold. He has the most in the entire game, and he is 5,000 ahead of the other jungler.
Absolute insanity. The execution here in these fights, every single one of them, seems to be going in the favor of EVOS. One misstep here or there, but the rest of the game absolutely controlled. Snowflower walking forward, taking risks here, but Supermassive. 11K down, gentlemen. 20 minutes into this game, standing up against a Baron buff EVOS. It almost feels insurmountable.
It all starts once again with Stark going forwards. Warzone as well flashing, but it's Ejin who finds the Caitlyn and is able to kill him before he deals damage. The last fight they lost was Zayt not free to farm against the enemy champions. But it's not just that. He doesn't stop when a traditional jungler tends to stop. He flashes in, and he keeps going.
Yeah, he has that CDR. He has the red buff. He has all of the damage behind him. And you can see they are hyped for the way this game is going. And now Supermassive, I said they had to get desperate. Look at that. It's completely shut down by the Ashe.
Snowflower wants to get the hook, does manage to get it. Maybe they can take down Warzone. Maybe this is the pick that they need. Warzone's still alive, but does get taken out in the end. Ashe trying to disrupt, but it's just the goal in the end as it goes between double drops for Stomaged.
Now they have to tend to their side lanes. It's going to be Orin pushing bottom. Ejin's going to kind of shadow him and make sure that there's no push in mid. So there's no objective reward here for Supermassive.
Now Ejin, what is he doing?
Oh, here comes the Orin ulti.
Oh, he's going to go for it!
Oh my god, goodbye! That's not a Kha'Zix, that's a Graves, baby. In the middle of everything, the shotgun hitting home melee range, and he is not concerned, but he should be. The shutdown comes through from GBM. Stark still trying to turn this fight, still trying to keep it going. Meanwhile, Slay is pushing on the top side. Supermassive grasping at straws, just trying to kill the Orb, but he still makes it out. Stark, the hook from Snowflower may be enough. They go over GBM, healing up. Mantra's the snare, gets the healing. They're going to take him down, but Slay is breaking the base.
They just went 2 for 2 in a 2v5. That is insanity.
The assassin in the bush as well. They get a turret in the top lane. They start to break the base. After 2 of them get caught out of position.
How?
From a moment when that should never exist, they find the spot where there's no vision from Supermassive, and the greedy pathing from Supermassive gets them punished.
And that's the thing where we talk about like the Kha'Zix for Ejin, the 26 bans, the undefeated record for him. He's playing his Graves like it's a Kha'Zix when he chills in the bush. Right here, that's that first kill onto the Cassiopeia. Then they have the Alistar fall down. And then when they go through, it's a legitimate 2v5 that comes out here.
You can just tell Supermassive is a dominant, region dominant on the stage. They're just not ready for this kind of play. I don't think anyone is.
Who does this play? How do you practice against that?
I don't think you make it this far into a scrim against a Fed Graves. I just don't think you're ready for this.
That's insane. Of course, he crits in his first 2 auto attacks as well. Effectively 2 hit the Caitlyn. And you can tell Snowflower's playing out of his mind on this stretch. We're back.
He's trying. Ejin in the middle of everybody once again. Now he has to try to run. The Olaf going to try to chase him down. 3-level difference. Ejin unafraid. Look at that damage. Warzone getting in the ult. Zayt now running for his life, but Ejin completely undeterred. The damage coming through. Slay is off to the side. Eyes on the Ashe. What can she get done? GBM trying to zone the rest of EVOS. Ooh, looking to bring it home. Forcing flashes out and barreling down this bottom lane.
Still pushing forwards as well with the Baron buff for 20 more seconds. This is the last wave for them to go, and they should be able to secure themselves a second inhibitor.
Supermassive, 5-1 in the group, top the group, look like the best team in play-ins. They drew EVOS and said, thank God it's not the LMS, but right now, Vietnam is saying, oh, it's a repeat of last year.
Exactly what they wanted. Fans worried, could they carry on the legacy of the Gigabyte Marines? They might even be doing one better. Yijin and the rest of the team, eyes on the prize. He will give his life for this one, but the rest of the team is focusing down. Nexus now set to fall. Supermassive, a desperate stand. Slay continues to auto-attack. They need to get the Ash. Snowflower, desperate to make a play, but that's gonna do it! EVOS earn their place on the group stage. They take down Supermassive. 3-0 the prediction. Goes the other way. 3-1 in the favor of Vietnam.
A repeat of last year. Vietnam took down Turkey 3-1 courtesy of the Gigabyte Marines. This year, they don't just prove they can do it again, they prove they can do it with a different team.
Yeah, as history repeats itself, it is a brand new team, Zyrene. You're absolutely right. But we see some new stars in the making once again. A team that does beat the Gigabyte Marines to get here. And on the back of their jungler, Warzone stepping up from 2 years ago to what we expected. And Stark's teleport plays, their team fighting. It all comes together in that fourth game.
A beautiful performance to be sure. Our crowd, big fans, are the VCS representatives. Vietnam can be proud too. Doesn't matter if you take Levi away, doesn't matter if you split up the Gigabyte Marines. Top town for Vietnam, continuing to show their dominance on an international stage, saying we deserve this spot up there with the best.
And my favorite part about this victory was it was one that goes against the stylistic meta. People are saying play through mid and bottom lane. Yijin, the most damage in the game by far, obliterated multiple games back to back, showed that you can carry from the jungle, that you can still do it, and that it is a viable strategy here.
And we saw a start. TP's down, sets his jungler up for success, just gets to take a step back and watch him go. Says, hey, I'll throw an Ornald into this fight. How about you two-shot a Caitlyn?
Yeah. I mean, you even think back to before that fact, when they go into the blue buff, they go to the jungle, they try and take them down. The whole team collapses to keep their jungle alive. Not even their jungler, the jungle alive for their jungle.